Hi, Gillian Perkis from Get Living, Raw Foods and Wellness Coaching. Today we are going to be making mature cheddar cheese. Now when you're going plant-based, one of the first things people say is, oh my goodness, I miss cheese. Well, I've been able to find some great recipes and change recipes and invent recipes and create recipes bringing cheese back to plant-based eaters, and people who are lactose intolerant can now have cheese, which is fantastic. And this cheese, I love this cheese. It's like so tasty. It's easy to make. You do need a Vitamix, and I should get that actually, and get that ready. You could actually use, you could try with a normal blender, but I do like a strong blender that's going to really blend my food. This is done on the stove, so unfortunately it's not completely raw. It's not raw actually, but I do make a raw cheese, and we'll be getting into that a little later on. But I thought this is a great recipe because not everybody has a dehydrator. So this is a recipe you can make at home. You can make today if you have the ingredients. So let's get started. Okay, so here we're going to put everything in my Vitamix. There we go. We have 1 cup of nuts, or cashew nuts, and we have our milk, 1.5 cups of milk. This is actually a lager beer. Actually, it's a Guinness, but I just stole it from my husband, his beer before he drank it, so that I have a nice stash. Beer is sort of to me is the secret ingredient, gives it its nice umami flavor. There's a couple things I do, and I'll show you. So there's our beer, and you can admit that if you have a problem with beer, definitely admit that. It's more for flavoring. I'm trying to get as close to the cheddar as possible. We have our nutritional yeast. Now, nutritional yeast, this is not a yeast. I had one of my clients yesterday. He was asking, is that a yeast? And not as in a yeast as in baking, that raises bread. I don't know why they call it nutritional yeast. It's a pity because it does put people off. But it is a byproduct from molasses, and it is fortified with vitamin B12. So kind of a decent if you need it, for especially as plant-based eaters. Then we have our onion powder. We have our garlic powder. Those just add some really nice flavors, of course. And now we have salt. This is 2 tablespoons of salt, which is actually a lot of salt, it seems like, but you actually find that salt is, cheddar cheese is generally very salty, and you'll find that you actually need it. I've tried to eliminate it, thinking it's a lot of salt, but I don't get the same flavor. Now, using Himalayan salt, you're actually getting 70 minerals, so you're getting some really good minerals because this comes from the Himalayas, of course, and as opposed to the iodized salt where you get 50 chemicals in it. And sea salt, I love sea salt. The only problem is our oceans are compromised, so depending on where you're actually getting, a lot of PCBs are found in sea salt, but there are some great sources of salt, like these Celtic salts and different. There's actually over 4,000 varieties of salt, so so you can certainly find some other types of salts that you can use that will actually benefit your health. This is coconut oil. You can use olive oil. I do find coconut oil is good simply because it's hard at room temperature. So it just helps just to make your cheese keep that sort of the more sort of harder. This cheese will never be hard like a good cheddar cheese, but it'll be enough for you to actually slice it and put it on your sandwich. Sort of more like a texture of maybe a tofu maybe. So then we have, this is our turmeric. We use turmeric. Well, turmeric's great for inflammation because of the curcumin in it. However, this is used for coloring. So it helps to keep that yellowness in the cheese, is what we're sort of used to. This is miso. Miso is one of those umami flavors. It kind of goes with the beer. And this is a fermented soy product. I do love a fermented soy product. Soy is actually good for us, especially as women, and especially in its fermented form. So I'm just going to show you. A lot of people don't know. It's sort of something I use a lot as a stock. I treat it like a stock. You use a chicken stock or whatever, but it's made of soybeans. I believe you can get rice miso as well. This is a red miso. You get dark miso. You can get a light miso. There's all different types of misos, and you tend to get them from your natural food stores as well. So we're going to throw the miso in, and if you smell it, it's just got such a great flavor to it. I really do enjoy that. And then we have our agar. Now, agar is a seaweed product. I'm going to just show you the bottle. This is a Now brand, but there are other brands I'm sure that you can buy. This is the brand that's available for us in Canada. And it is an algae, like a seaweed product, and it helps to thicken. So it's sort of the place of gelatin. So it would be your vegan version, and of course it's healthy because it's from seaweed, and it's great for it's going to bring in your iodine that we need as well. So great sauce. I am going to throw in my cider vinegar. It's 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, and I'm just going to check that. So now we have all the mixture, and I'm going to put it in my blender. I am going to throw in cornmeal. Cornmeal will help to thicken it. It will sort of be like a polenta. I had my Italian client over yesterday, and she said, "Oh, like polenta." And I said, "Yes, exactly. It will thicken as we heat." If you don't like corn, which a lot of my clients have issues with corn, then you certainly use an arrowroot flour. You could use a cassava flour, which I use as well, depending especially if I'm at the market and I need it to be allergenically free of allergens. So I'm going to just put this on the blender, and then I am going to heat it. Now this literally took 30 seconds in my Vitamix. If you have another type of mixer, it may take longer. So there we go. You see how beautiful that is? Now I'm going to put this on the stove. Unfortunately, I don't have a hot plate right now. I will get one. And I'm going to put this on the stove. I'm going to heat it up, and then we're going to put it in a container. That's mine. Shoot. Okay. Here's my. There it is. Okay. So this has been, I've put this on the stove and it's heated. Took about probably 5 minutes. I had it on medium heat and you can see it's really thickened nicely. And you have to stir it all the time. Do not leave it because it'll burn very easily. And I'm just going to put it in my container. This is a glass container. I'm going to put this in the fridge. And it is fantastic. It's going to be a nice cheese. So you just spread it out, put it in the, I'm just going to use my offset spatula. There we go. So just make it look nice. This is going to go in my fridge overnight and it's going to harden beautifully. You can eat it right now if you would like. But, and it spreads very nicely if you want to put it on your cracker right now, but it will form into something a little, so as I said, more like a tofu. Yeah, so hopefully you can see that. I'm gonna, so when it's hardened, you can take it out if you want. You could just slice a little bit and take a little bit out and put it on a plate when you have company over, or for cheese and crackers or whatever you want. So I definitely hope you give this a try, and it definitely is a delicious cheese. You could actually even use it hot like this and put it in your spiralized noodles or your chickpea noodles or whatever you want to make a macaroni cheese. So good way to do that as well.